My name is Uta Bolt. I'm a lecturer in economics at the University of Bristol, and my research generally focuses on human capital development. So how do people's skills develop from childhood to adulthood, and what are the consequences for later life outcomes, as well as social mobility and inequality. Now, in this particular project, we were interested in understanding children and how gender norms might be reflected in children at an early age. To do that, we used a data set of essays that were written by 11-year-olds in 1969, and we measure how strongly what these kids in the essays write conforms with gender norms at the time. So the topic of these essays was imagine your life at 25, describe your home life, your career, and your hobbies. And so what we find is that some girls, for example, write things that are very stereotypically female, so that they, for example, cook or that they attend to children. And so those individuals, we say, conform more with gender norms at the time. We were then particularly interested in understanding why do girls differ in how much they conform with gender norms, as well as what are the consequences of this gender conformity for their outcomes later on. We used machine learning algorithms for this. So the particular algorithm we used was trained on over 1 million books that were written around the time at which the essays were written. Now, what the algorithm does is it learns from all these books what words are typically associated with females. What we find is that girls who conform more strongly with traditional gender norms tend to earn less. Girls with stronger gender conformity tend to attain less education. They also choose different occupations, and they also form families earlier. And importantly, this is all even though we control for cognitive skills, socio-emotional skills, and all sorts of other differences in family background. This research is particularly important because it shows that conformity with gender norms is already present at an early age. This also then implies that we might want to think about intervening early on in order to create more equitable environments. Showing that this is the case on a large scale using 10,000 essays really, to me, is very fascinating, that sort of these things that you intuitively might think are going on, to actually sort of prove that quantitatively using data, I think really helps for the evidence that policymakers might need to implement certain policies. So yeah, I do think it's rewarding.